Welcome to the Beyond the Business podcast, where we dive deep into the impact local business owners have on their communities. Listen in as we talk with relationship-focused business owners who share their stories and how their businesses are creating legacies. Here is your host, Corey Bauman.
Well, welcome to another episode of the Beyond the Business podcast, actually episode 2. And I have an awesome guest today and local entrepreneur and good friend of mine. I'm proud to call you friend. It's been a while, and I think longer than we probably even know. But I have with me today none other than Colleen Falicki. And she is a local business owner having a huge impact on her community, which we're going to talk about today. But I've known Colleen for several years. Colleen, good to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me, Corey. Actually, it's been like 8 years, several. It goes by fast, doesn't it?
It's crazy. I can still remember that first Master Networks meeting that we had. It was awesome. And it's been an incredible journey. And to have you alongside that whole journey has been awesome. So just an honor to have you with us again on the podcast, and tell everyone what your business is, a little bit about Colleen. Also, don't leave out the part where the things you like to do outside of your business. You know, as entrepreneurs, we tend to say, well, my business is 24/7, but you know it best. We talk about it all the time. You have to have some time with the fam and time to do some fun stuff. So tell me about Colleen. Tell everyone about Colleen.
Sure. Yeah, that's what I've learned most, I think, about being part of the Master Networks community is like, it's so important to have you time. And to, just take a minute and step back and reflect and take some time away from the business. So it makes you more creative and gives you, these great ideas. So Colleen Falicki, my business is back to Earth Compost Crew. We've been around since 2017 physically, but in my mind, like 8 years before then, maybe more. I don't know. When I had my kids, I became more passionate about being more sustainable and, making a difference for them and their children. So I thought about it for that long, but I was a member of Master Networks and realized that with my Master Networks family, like I had the support that I needed to launch my business. So 2017, we started. I created my own website. Actually, it's still the same one today, with a few tweaks and some other additions to it. But we are on a mission to keep food waste out of landfills and back into the soil in our communities. We do that by curbside compost pickup. So we have residential curbside compost pickup. We also work with businesses that want to be more sustainable. And we have 5 collection sites now at farmers markets and other locations in the communities that we serve. And that's been wonderful to be able to meet the folks that compost with us, just the community in general, and just spread the word about how important it is for what we're doing and answer questions. I love meeting people face to face. So it was a no-brainer for us to kind of go that route. And we also do a lot of compost education. So we do workshops in person, on Zoom. I'm excited to say that I'm going to be launching a monthly Zoom for home composters. Yeah, so we'll be doing it like at the same time every month. You can register through our website and for an hour, just, train with us and kind of go through how, we can teach you the 5 easy steps to home composting and just kind of make it easy for folks to be able to do that in their backyard. So that's it. And it's a lot, but that's it in a nutshell.
I mean, it's been awesome seeing your business evolve. So the one thing you said that I don't want to glaze over, and I think you mentioned like the reason why, but I want you to kind of like talk a little bit, elaborate maybe about this, because I feel like as business owners or maybe non-business owners and people that have a dream to own a business, I think you said, clarify if I'm wrong, but I think you said you thought about the business for about 7 or 8 years, right? So like you had this idea of like what you wanted it to be. There was many things that were holding you back from doing it. So I would like you to just touch on a couple of those things. I hope I'm not getting too personal, but touch on a couple of the reasons why you didn't, and then touch on a couple of the reasons that got you over the hump to say, today's the day that I create an LLC, right?
Yeah.
Like what got you to the physical action of actually creating a business? So I think it's important to not glaze over.
No, thanks. I'm glad you asked, because initially it was fear. Okay. So we all have this fear of, what if I'm rejected? What if they don't like what I have to offer? What if I don't make any money? What if people, don't, again, like, don't take to it, don't think that what I'm doing is important. Not that I care that much, but obviously you need to care enough to, if you have a business, you want to have people that are interested and, purchasing, from your business, consumers that are interested in, being members or however it is. So yes, fear. And then, am I going to be able to, create a business? Is this a true business, good business model? So Master Networks, enter Master Networks. And I had mentioned earlier, that's the reason why I started my business is, so do you have like the people in place on your team to help you feel confident enough to start this business? Like an accountant, right? Having someone who knows how to like help you get started and form your LLC. Folks to, insurance, like I want to make sure that I have business insurance. All of these things that you don't think about when you're like, want to start a business. It's like, oh, I have this great idea. But what is behind that, what are the things that you need to do to make sure that you have everything set up properly and that you're kind of moving in the right direction to be a profitable business. So I was lucky enough. I don't know if you call it luck or
Intentional luck. Yeah.
Intentional luck. I was grateful enough that I knew that I had these folks in place, that I was able to make that jump from a concept in my mind to something that I could actually do, and just take that leap and create the website and put it out there to everyone, and put it out there to the universe that we were doing this, I was doing this, and we have this service available in the community. So
I love it. I love it.
So
what I heard you say is fear, right? None of us ever have fear. I think that would be probably the number one reason. Fear of does the product I believe in, like, are others going to believe in it as much for me to be able to create a sustainable business that has revenue and profit, right? And
I still get that question to this day. Like, do you make money? Like, how do you make money doing that?
Is this a nonprofit?
Yeah. That
right?
And and it's like a legitimate question. I mean, I could see how people would feel that way. Like, how do you, who pays who? Like, does the customer pay you, or how does it all work? So,
and I think all of us at one point as business owners have had that question. Am I running a nonprofit this month or this quarter? Right? Like the reality that I am not making money at this and something has to change. And then you dissect everything that's happening and what you're tracking and how to create revenue and all those other things.
yes.
But all joking aside, we've all had that thing, that question probably at some point of like, is this a nonprofit? Or, our spouses or significant others or whoever else in your life,
are you making money doing this?
Yeah, you might get to a point where they're like, is this a hobby or are you making money at this? And that's probably a fear too. I know you're married and I'm sure that had some, you have pride in what you're doing, but you also want to contribute to the family, right? So
100%. Yes. Yeah. I want to be able to contribute to, well, first of all, like, I want to be able to contribute financially, but also like, I still want to be there as a mom and a wife, and be able to, and that's kind of one of the things that also drew me to be an entrepreneur. Like, I want to be able to have a flexible schedule so I can take my kids to, to their appointments or to school or wherever it is, and be there for them, be home if I need to when they're home, things like that. So, yes, it is scary and exciting at the same time.
So how do you make time for those things? Like, how do you, like, as a business owner that I know you because we're friends, but I know you're running, and I know you've put some leverage in place over the last year or two, probably some really significant leverage that's now allowing you to do those things. But like, that's a tough balance, right? Because you said you don't want to be the parent that misses the game or that kind of thing. But then you also are the owner of a business and you have a lot of responsibility. So how did you kind of work through that?
It is a challenge, but I think, like you said, like leveraging and having, just letting also my family know the expectations. Like, here's here are the days that I'm working this week. Yes, I'm going to have to work, Saturdays and the occasional Sunday, or evenings if I have different, events to attend, or Zooms or whatever, workshops. But also putting in place, like, Kate answers our emails, and she's fantastic. And she does our newsletter. She's our editor. Sandy she does our social media. So I was doing all of that, also on the road, not on the road as much. So we have our great drivers that do the routes, and that we have awesome folks at the farmers markets. Like, I just can't say enough. I think it's also about, like, the team too. Like, I can't do this. I cannot take credit for all of this. And I just also like to, like, reiterate, like, I give them, like, all the credit. Like, credit is due to them. I can never do this alone. Like, we haul 4 to 5 tons a week of food waste, keeping that out of the landfills, out of the incinerators, back into the soil, creating compost. And the partners that we compost with, like, we take it there, they process it. So and couldn't do that with the team. I couldn't do that myself. I mean, it's so being able to trust that they're doing things to get the job done. Like, they have a route, they're able to do the pickups for that day, and answer the emails, and do the social media. So I am just so grateful. Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to do it without them. And so that part of it is exciting to me to see. And it's also, like, I see that they're passionate about doing it as well, and encouraging that. And we actually are getting together in July, and I'm so excited
Awesome.
to be able to, like, be in one place. And a lot of times we're just separate. We're on the road. We're at the farmers markets and things like that. So.
And that is it is so important as the face of a business, because you're the face technically of the business, right? You're out there in the community, and it's such a strong leadership quality and business owner quality to just constantly give your people the credit, because if it wasn't for your people, none of this would be happening in the background, right? All the success, all the revenue that's coming in, all of the new clients, like, yes, you're leading the charge with that. You're the face of and you're still involved. I get it. You're still involved in your business, but if you're not giving your people credit, please do today. If you're listening to this and you have a team, or not even so much people that you have hired, like, you're just your vendor partners, like,
Right.
those are the people you need to thank for things. And so I know you do a good job of that, but I didn't want to get past that, because it's important for business owners to hear that.
So important.
Because it's easy, especially when your business grows, to kind of sit back and go, puff your chest out and say, I did this, I was the one that was doing everything in the beginning. Like, it's very easy to do that. And so to have humility and understanding that if it wasn't for your people, none of this would be happening. So I commend you for that. It's very important.
I could hug them every day if I could.
I love it.
Couldn't do it without them.
It's important. I want to switch gears a little bit. And I want to talk about one of the things we want to talk about on this podcast a lot is the impact local businesses have on their communities in various different ways. Because sometimes I think we forget just how much of an impact our local businesses have on their communities. You and I were talking a little bit actually before we started recording about the impact and the kind of entanglement of local businesses in their communities, because they are in their communities, right? They live in their communities. Of a lot of the business owners, like, kids go to school together. So like you're kind of like a family, right? Your communities are families. And so when we say supporting local small business, and I want to say small business, local businesses, supporting local business owners is so important, is because they do give a lot back to the communities in many senses. And that doesn't mean like a retail big box store or retail doesn't contribute to community,
Right.
But in general, they're working out of a corporate office that might be located somewhere different, and they're not necessarily having the same impact that a local business owner can have, because you're at local events. Again, the people
face to face with these people that are in your community.
Regularly. So on that topic, what are some of the things that come to your mind maybe just things you've done in your community that other local business owners, could do also, or how you feel like we're impacting, our community.
Yeah. So that's actually, I'm glad that you brought this up, because one of the things that, um, back to Earth, one of our core values is giving back to the community. And so since the day one, we've given finished compost to the local. We gave it to a couple schools to use for their gardens. A local community center have donated money, also time, and our services. Also done workshops in the community. Just like for our last this past Earth Day, our events, we had one speaker each week, and for a timely, sustainable topic. And we did a Zoom, and folks could register for a donation. And so we donated the money to Heroic Gardens, which helps veterans and creates either helps them with gardening around their house, landscaping. They also do a program called Mission Windowsill. So they'll give them plants, and they can do it at home, like give it to them, and then do like a Zoom training on how to grow plants. Just having a windowsill plant, like having the skills of gardening, helps to reduce your stress level. It helps to boost endorphins. It's just so good for body and mind to be able to garden. And even if you can't garden outside, you could garden in your inside. So Mission Windowsill is something that, or Mission Windowsill and Heroic Gardens, I've gotten to know the founder, Colleen, very well, and I'm just so grateful to be able to give back to them in any way that we can. And I thought that this would be a great way to do that. We did this last year as well with the Earth Day speaker events. We also give back finished compost twice a year to our subscribers. So
Great.
Not only do we get to meet them in person, we have shovels there, and the dirt, the compost there, and they can come and twice a year, use it for their gardens. And I love to find out like what they're planting, and send us pictures, things like that. That's exciting for me. But be able to connect to them, face to face is really important. I didn't say that before.
Yeah,
times.
super important.
Yeah, and just being able to give back to the businesses in the community and supporting. I'm very passionate about supporting local businesses, and we got to see a lot of local businesses when we're at the farmers markets.
Yep.
And I've been taking my kids to the farmers markets since they were born, so we could support local businesses.
Yep.
And supporting a local business doesn't mean that it means that you're supporting to be able to thrive in the community that they're in, send their kids to ballet lessons, or things like that. It's supporting their dream too,
yep.
keeping these businesses in the community, making sure that I'm big on making sure that we just get out there and buy from the businesses,
Yes.
the small local businesses. So we do a lot of on social media, we'll share the small local businesses, we'll share the businesses that we work with, so that folks know that where they could go to find a sustainable business that's doing composting, things like that. It's important that we're thriving, and I think that we're supporting one another.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's a community. You support each other, and while we're not saying that writing a check doesn't help at times, it's not, because you think of some of the bigger retail type, they're it's not that they're not contributing in some cases, but it might be as simple as them writing a big check, versus you and all of the things you just mentioned. You may not have that big check to write, right? But what you're doing is you're contributing, getting involved, supporting them, creating this network, right, where they can support each other and help each other. And I think there's room for the big retail, corporate company that's writing big checks. But then there's a huge need, and in many cases, I think way more important, of what you guys are doing as local business owners to support each other.
And there's the niches where the local business owners bring that to the table. There's, different niches to fulfill in the community. And so I think being able to support them is important.
Yeah, for sure. So before we wrap it up, I am going to switch gears again a little bit. It's all kind of tied together, but I'm just going to switch gears on you a little bit. So beyond the business, the name of the podcast is referred to, we talk a lot of business today, but the business allows you to create a legacy. And that term gets thrown around loosely. I get it. It means something different probably to everyone. And it probably means something different to you than the next guest I have on, right? Or the first guest I had on. So when you think of legacy, it could be related to legacy that, 50 years from now, when people look at your business, what do they want? What do you want them to remember most about the business and what impact it had, or what you had, or how does your family view it? Like when I say legacy, what does the legacy mean to you? And what are you trying to leave, when Colleen is not on this earth anymore with her business?
I'll be teaching you how to compost from up there.
There you go. There you go.
I think like just that I cared to do something, and I passed that knowledge on to whether it's my kids or the business, like that they know how important it is to have a sustainable community. Like that we started this, and how, just how important it is, how impactful it is, like that everyone can make a difference. Like to me, that's important to know. Like people think like, oh, I can do some small, like I can only do something small. It's like, okay, everyone doing something small makes a big difference. Like if I think about it in the way of, you only have this much food scraps and this person has this much, but when we add it together, how many tons are we keeping out of the landfill,
Yeah.
and how much are we, we're keeping that carbon out of the atmosphere, and the less, it's just better for our planet to be able to keep that out of the landfill and the trash. It's just, keeping these things in the forefront of people's minds as to why it's important. And she started this business because she wanted to know that how important it is for our community to do these things. And
Love it.
It does make an impact and it makes ripple effects too, right?
Yep.
Like what we do, I guess that's a legacy. Like this person's doing it, and then they tell their neighbor, their friend, their family member, and then they start doing it. And next thing you know, like you have a whole community that's involved.
And just the knowledge alone, right, has a big impact. Like you said, the knowledge of just what composting is, because I still think a lot of people don't even understand what composting is, but the knowledge of it,
Yes.
being able to spread the knowledge, why it's important and how they can make impacts. That's huge.
Sure.
And I know we didn't dive deep what composting is today, but it's a good tee up to your upcoming, you said you're doing monthly workshops online.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us about that? Because that's how people can find out about composting. I'll also put that information in the description, but tell us about that, and really anything else that you want people to know about your business, specifically ways they can get plugged into what you're doing, and then how they can get a hold of you.
Sure. Thanks for mentioning that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be doing monthly Zooms. You can register through our website, backtoearthcompost.com. It should be up there in the next day or two. So when you're watching this, you'll be able to register through Eventbrite, and you'll hop on, and it'll be an hour of 5 easy steps to home composting. So if you've ever wanted to know, first of all, why it's important and how to do it, and then I'll be your go-to for any questions that you have. If once you start getting, started in your backyard, you can reach out to me and I can help you along the way. So check that out. Also, if you want to learn more about us, just backtoearthcompost.com. We're also on Instagram and Facebook. And we just try to make it fun, try to make it educational and fun, and something that your whole family can do.
I love it. So get plugged in, reach out to Colleen. She's all over social media also. And if you're a Master Networks member, yep, you can find her in the hub. So go into Direct Track and find her in the hub and set up a face-to-face with her. Or like I said, reach out to her. She's a wealth of knowledge, just a great person. I always say that if I talk to somebody, they probably know Colleen, or if I talk to Colleen, she probably knows that person, because Colleen is well connected and she's intentional about her networking. So get connected with Colleen, and should be a great resource for you also. Colleen, any last words before we wrap up episode 2 of the Beyond the Business podcast? Yeah.
I applaud you for getting started.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes. Any last words? Just check it out. Like if it's something that you don't know much about, and just look into it. And I think that you'll find that for as far as composting, it's easier than what you thought, and you can make an impact no matter how small you think what you're doing. Every little bit makes an impact. So keep that in mind. You're a change maker. You can do it. And I'm here to help. So
you're a change maker. I love that. So for you business owners out there, or somebody that's watching this that goes, I have a dream of this business, take action. That's it, right? Find a good support group. Find a good group
network.
Of support around you. Network, find that group. And maybe it's with Master Networks, right? Who knows? Maybe it's Master Networks if you're not a part of Master Networks already. But find that group, that board of directors, those people that are really going to support you through that are going to encourage you, that are going to hold you accountable, that are going through very similar things that you're going to go through as a business owner. No matter what business you have, business owners go through the same challenges. And then take action. Set something on your calendar to take the first step. Anybody can open up an LLC. That doesn't make you a business owner. What makes you a business owner is all the things we talked about today that Colleen is doing and has done in the way you view your business. And you need help and support and other people that have made mistakes in the past to help you out with those things. And so you don't make those mistakes.
For sure. That's the one thing I learned. Like, I don't know it all. I don't even pretend to know it all, but I can find out because of the support that I have.
Love it.
No loss for support and folks that are willing to help. So.
Well, we're going to end it on that. Thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of the Beyond the Business podcast. Thanks, Colleen Falicki. Looking forward to seeing you in person soon. And I'm sure we'll see you on the podcast again at some point, but good luck with everything. And we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Corey.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Beyond the Business podcast. We hope that you have been inspired to create positive impact in your community and a legacy worth leaving. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all of the major podcast platforms.